Okay.
Hey guys, welcome to Fearless Cooking. And we've got Thanksgiving coming up, and Thanksgiving for me is always about spending time with family. So I'm lucky my daughter Megan is here today. So we'll get started with the wine and have a toast.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always hear people talk about how stressful the holidays are, and I'm sure that there are some families that's really stressful. But for me, it's great because it always gives me a chance to cook with my kids. So here's to doing a Fearless Cooking one with you, and for you to be here for Thanksgiving.
Cheers.
And what is Thanksgiving dinner without green bean casserole? So once I started doing paleo, I immediately kind of went, I don't ever want to see another can of soup that has no telling what kind of crazy ingredients in it in something I'm eating, especially something I'm fixing to feed other people. So what we've done is kind of found a way to paleoize this green bean casserole. So what we're gonna end up with, we're gonna have like 4 different products that are gonna be a result of today. Okay, we're gonna fry the shallots. All right, and so we're going to fry more than what we'll need just for this recipe. And as a result, we're going to have fried shallots to go on the green bean casserole, but we're also going to have the oil that we fry the shallots in that now is infused with the shallot flavor. Okay, so we're going to save that. We're going to put that aside, and you could use that to make mayonnaise. You can make vinaigrette with it. I mean, it's dynamite. Then what we're going to do is we'll have the mushroom, we'll have the green bean casserole, and so that's going to be what our and then we're also going to make a green bean vinaigrette, and this is kind of a bonus, guys. If you started, I will go ahead and amend the recipe to include this in there, but we're going to use the flat leaf parsley is going to go in the green bean salad. We're going to quarter up some cherry tomatoes. We will use some olive oil, some sherry vinegar, and some Dijon mustard.
Is there something you could use instead of sherry vinegar? Like, that's one thing I know I wouldn't have at home. What would you?
So what I would say is use a apple cider vinegar. Okay, or do you also have balsamic?
I have both.
Okay, so here's the thing with vinegars. You could use pretty much any kind of vinegar, right? And like over here, I think I've got a white wine vinegar, I've got a red wine vinegar, I've got a rice wine vinegar. So I have to ask you a question. Why don't you have any sherry vinegar?
It's just not something I've ever needed for a recipe that I've made.
Okay, so how often do you adjust? Do you taste food when you get done with it to see if you need to add acid to it?
Yeah, but my go-to would be like a lime or a lemon.
Okay, and that works. There's just times that sherry vinegar will add just a little different twist to it.
You can get small bottles, right?
So this is a small one. Then I've got another big one over there. Right.
All right, I'll have to add that to my repertoire.
Perfect. All right. So I tell you what we'll do first. We're gonna cut the shallots, and we're gonna cut them to a credit card thickness.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm gonna give you we're gonna do one of those, and then we're gonna do the rest of them on the mandolin. And before I ever do anything, move that. Before I ever cook or cut anything, I always like to hit it on the honing steel, just because it trues up the blade. And then what I do is I just hold it like this. I want to use my knuckles to guide it with. Okay, and I want to. Yeah, see, that's too. Actually, you know what? I think we're gonna punt on this. I told people they could do it this way. The problem is it just makes them too thin, and those will burn. All right. So I tell you what, I'm gonna put the knife to the side. And we're going to move the mandolin here. And I'm just going to toss these.
So if people don't have a mandolin, they would just have to cut them.
Yeah, and
lighter.
and what I would suggest, you can get a mandolin for probably, there's some cheaper ones for like about $18. I think this one is about 45, something like that. But here's what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna move my instructions out of the way, not too far away. And then I'm gonna get a small tray to put under that. This is a kind of a perfect size because it'll, yeah.
That's nice.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Trey.
And then I bought this for like $9. It's a safety glove. And what I like about it is that I'm not going to get too aggressive, but yeah,
It freaks me.
I know.
So it looks kind of like a Michael Jackson. You got
It
a
does,
Michael
it
Jackson
does,
going on
yeah.
there. Yeah.
So this is like razor sharp, right? So what I like is I don't even have to use the guard. And I've got this thing set to where it's a 1/16 of an inch.
That's the beauty of the mandolin.
Exactly. Every one of them is
Oh,
the
wow.
same. Yeah.
And
It's the
so
same
much
thickness.
faster.
Yep. And see, that's the reason that now they have a thing that like pushes down into it, but it never fails. You can't get like the very end part. So that's why I thought, man, this is a dynamite investment for $9.
And you feel like really secure
Oh.
with touching that plate.
Well, you saw my, you know.
I know, but
Still,
that would still freak me out.
Let's see. We'll go this way.
still need to take great care and caution.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not going to be like trying to, say, hey guys, you owe me a refund because I cut my finger off, right? So I'm just like taking it easy with
So I have a friend who had a dinner party and they used the mandolin and it got put into the soapy water
oh shoot.
and he reached down
Yeah.
and realized it was in there and
You
Yeah.
still have all of his fingers?
he has all of his fingers, but he ended up in the emergency room that night
Mhm.
Wow.
with stitches. So you
Yeah.
gotta be really, really careful.
There's
with
so
that.
many people that have mandolin stories, right?
Yeah.
And so it's why I just decided right out of the gate, I was going to buy the glove because then I wouldn't be reluctant to use it.
Yeah.
Because
That's a great tool.
it is. It's a real time-saving tool, and it's great from a uniformity standpoint.
Yeah.
I also feel like this, normally standing this close, it would bother my eyes to
Mhm.
chop it.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's getting to you,
No.
but it feels like it's less,
Yep.
That's true, because shallots are really
yeah, those are the worst.
powerful. Yeah.
Okay,
Those are red
we'll do
onions.
another one. Yep. So one of the things that we're going to do with the vinaigrette when we do it is that you take the shallots, because like raw onions to me are strong and they're hard on some people's stomachs.
Mhm.
What we're going to do is we're going to put the red onions in and we're going to put the vinegar on them and let them sit for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, while we get the other stuff ready. And what that does is that it tames that those onions.
Interesting.
Yeah, let's see how many we'll do one more. Because I want to do about like enough.
So obviously not all of those will go in
No.
your green bean
That
casserole.
would be some oniony. Yeah,
That
no,
would be,
because
but you just want to have these on hand for other dishes.
yeah. So Kenji Lopez-Alt was the guy with Serious Eats and Food Labs. It was the guy that kind of turned me on to these. And he talks about that he'll make a whole big bunch of them and they'll keep them in the fridge and he'll come home and his wife will smell like, she'll kiss him at the door and she'll smell like onions. And he's like, you've been eating. Yeah. She gets busted for that. All right. I think, let's see. Maybe we will use all of these.
Can't hurt, right?
No?
How many for the green bean casserole? People only need like.
I mean, we're just going to, this is going to be one of those we're just going to eyeball. I don't know. I'm going to put a handful in to kind of stir in, and then I'm going to sprinkle them on the top.
Okay. And I imagine people could sort of just adapt according to the taste they like.
Yep,
If they like more or
absolutely.
less. Yeah.
All right, so I'm not going to put that last one in.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, that'll be probably a good amount in the skillet. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to move this out of the way.
Yeah, way out of the way.
Yeah.
No, in the sink with soapy water.
No,
please.
no.
I'd like to keep all my fingers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please do. We don't.
All right, and then I'll put this over there with it. So
I still think of that Julia Child,
oh, the Saturday
skit on
Night Live.
Saturday Night Live,
Yeah.
where she was bleeding everywhere.
Yes.
Dan Aykroyd
Uh-huh.
portraying Julia Child.
All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get the cast iron skillet. We're going to put, what's nice about this is that we don't heat the oil and then put these in it because
really?
because we don't want to burn them.
Okay.
So
And you're
we're,
putting a heavy amount of oil in
I'm
there.
gonna put like, and that's why you're gonna have oil left.
Yeah, that's
Right.
a lot.
No, we're not done yet. Yeah, because I want them to actually float in it. Okay.
So it needs to be like an inch or so of oil?
Yeah, and in fact, this may not be enough from this bottle.
All right.
Yeah, but like whenever I make mayonnaise, I use a half a cup of olive oil and a half a cup of avocado oil. So like I can make mayonnaise with this and it'll have that that shallot taste.
Yeah.
That'll just have to go around the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna just drop this over here. All right, I'm gonna actually use some more of this one.
Okay. Getting after it. Do you not burn yourself in the oil splashing?
Well, you're not like, we're not gonna crank the heat up on this thing.
Okay.
It's gonna, in other words, we're gonna.
Wow. So that's more than an inch, but
No, it's not.
So
No.
like the actual
Okay.
thickness
Yeah.
it's just like fully
Yeah,
covered and there's like,
it's probably half an inch.
yeah.
okay, that's good
Yeah.
for, it's hard to just see on
Yeah.
from the camera, so it's good for,
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'll put these in there.
oh, so you're putting them in before
Yeah,
you heat it?
yeah.
Okay,
All of it.
that keeps you from splattering too.
Yeah. Well, like I said, because one of the things that we're trying to do is that we don't want to burn these. So I want to make sure that they're completely covered. I think I'm going to put just a touch more. Because the beauty with this is it's not like you're going, oh man, but you're going to waste all that oil. Because actually,
So then will you use that oil for when you make mayonnaise or
oh yeah,
aioli or something?
Mhm.
Okay, just add more flavor to that.
Yep. All right, that's good.
Yeah, we already have a jar started in the
Uh-huh.
fridge.
So
now.
what
it
we'll
should
end up-
stay refrigerated.
Yeah, so we'll have like a mayonnaise jar. I mean, not like a big yogurt, one of those Bulgarian yogurt bottles completely full. Okay, so I'm going to turn that to. All right, I'm just going to put this here. One of the things that I have noticed with cast iron is it gets really hot. So
Mhm.
at some point we'll probably use the glove to do anything with it.
Hot pad?
Yeah.
Okay.
You also have to do some bicep curls to be
Yeah,
able to
they're
pull that
heavy.
on and off of there.
Yeah, it's heavy.
This is another reason to have a nice assistant today
Mhm.
when it comes time to
Yeah, because it
drain
is
those.
and it's a
two-person.
two-handed deal, and you want to make sure. That's why I'll use both the hot pads for the gloves. There. So what we're going to look for is we'll start to get just a couple of bubbles, and then I'm going to stir it almost constantly. Okay. Because like I said, the secret with this is you don't want to burn it. And what we're going to be looking for, I'm going to go ahead and start now. We're going to be looking for, as it starts to turn kind of a light golden brown. It's not going to get completely, and I see like a little piece of, and since it's not hot yet, I wouldn't do this otherwise. I would use something else.
An eggshell.
Yeah, it's kind of got that same.
Always have a paper towel in my pocket.
Such a dad move.
I know, it really is.
True.
A signature dad move.
Sure is. Almost as gross as a handkerchief.
I have one of those too.
Uh,
Always.
That's funny.
All right.
So what are you doing? Oh, you're just taking
I
out
just
the little
I found
pieces.
another
Okay.
little piece. Yeah. Okay. Got there.
About how long is it probably gonna take?
It'll probably take about 10 minutes.
Is there anything that we should prep while you're doing that?
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
We could, yeah, but
Can we
see,
do
but
garlic or no?
yeah, I tell you what though, because what I don't want to do is be like kind of showing you how to do that, and then this, because the secret with this is to kind of keep it going the whole time.
So when you cook this, this sounds like it needs your absolute attention.
Yeah,
So
because
that's good
you
for
can
people to know.
go from like great to disaster in in just a second. And there is a fair amount of of oil and stuff in here. So it's like, all right, there's a a modest investment that it's like, all right, let's take care of it.
All right.
So, as I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but as you're starting to stir it, the rings are starting to separate.
Okay. Oh,
right.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that.
Yeah. And you can start to feel some of the heat coming off of
And
it.
you've got that heat on the fairly high, medium high, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Like medium.
Medium.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, you don't want it ripping
Too hot.
hot. Yeah,
Okay.
because we want to,
You gotta have it hot enough for
Yeah.
them to get crispy.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You gotta buy your olive oil at Trader Joe's so you don't feel bad wasting it.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Well, see, I buy it at Costco, so.
And this is wait. So could you? I noticed you used avocado oil. Could you use?
You
olive
might
oil
could.
instead?
I like the avocado oil because it doesn't have any taste, In fact, I'm going to turn this down just a bit. Okay.
Start to smell them a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Smells so good.
I know it.
So one of the things that you and I had talked about earlier was the idea of around kind of how do you paleoize a recipe?
Mhm.
Well, almost every recipe that you see out there says, either they're telling you to use olive oil, which I'm a fan of that, or a lot of them will say use vegetable oil.
Okay.
And I just, it's like there are a few things that I'm as categorical as I am about that. It's like you shouldn't use avocado. I mean, you shouldn't use vegetable oil if you're going to cook something to give it to somebody else's dog, right? I mean, it is the sorriest stuff that we put in people's food.
Hot takes from Jim.
Well, no, it's like it's true. The stuff is literally toxic, and it's what's crazy is it never even appeared in our food scene until like 100 years ago, and the whole way that it started was literally these two guys that were making soap said, our soap ingredients are getting too expensive. So they had this German engineer that said, well, hey, we can figure out a way to use cottonseed oil, and you can use that to make soap with. And when they did it, all of a sudden they looked at it and went, this stuff is incredible. It looks like lard. So they started off to make soap with it. And here's the thing you have to understand. Cottonseed oil was like toxic waste. It was stuff that people were like begging people to take off their hands. So they took this stuff that was garbage and went and they did an ad campaign with, who was the first major ad company? It was, I'm trying to think, J. Walter Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first food campaign that was ever done, was around, and it was Crisco.
Yeah.
Well, Crisco started this whole trend towards vegetable oils. It's not something we've ever eaten.
But cottonseed is not. It started with cottonseed, but they moved it to vegetable.
Well, yeah.
oil,
So
like corn and-
cottonseed oil was just kind of the first thing of going. Okay,
Okay.
we can take garbage and turn it into food, and then then what they've done is that when they call it vegetable oil, but it really is like soybean oil, okay, or it is corn oil.
Mhm.
Well, you don't squeeze corn and get corn oil, right? You have to go through all of these, like you have to extract it with this organic solvent called hexane. And you do all this crap to it that causes it to oxidize. And what they're beginning, like the real advanced research now is showing that that's what's causing heart attacks. It's not saturated fat. In fact, there's only a handful of studies where they've actually said, okay, we're going to replace saturated fat with vegetable oil. And they never published the results because what they found out was it didn't prove what they wanted it to. All these people started having heart attacks. And they were like, whoa, okay, well, never mind that. We'll just bury that one. So yes, there is no way that
It's a strong feeling. This is why you have these strong feelings about vegetables.
because my thing is, it's like there's people making money on it, which I'm all for people making money, but not when it's detrimental to people's health, especially when those people that are using it are thinking they're doing something for them, their health.
So it looks like the shallots are sort of changing and
But not,
color a little bit.
yeah, I want to get just a little bit more golden.
And what are we gonna do next?
So what we're going to do, we're going to take this, in fact, if you'll get that and put it right here. And if you will grab the.
You want to talk about what? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, if you will grab the mitts off the side of the refrigerator. All
So
right.
how will you know when this is ready?
So like right now, they're just, it's not, we're not there. It will get a little bit more like golden.
And how will you know that you've crossed the line of too golden, too done?
People out there will hear me go, damn it, and then no, that's too far.
So how will they know when they're cooking these?
So you don't.
Kind of a too dark of a brown?
Yeah, you don't want it to go dark brown, right?
Okay.
What we want is we want a real light brown.
Okay.
And
Looks like some of them still have some white on them.
Some of them have white. We're still seeing the purple.
Yeah, they don't seem to be browning that much.
No, and it's kind of all of a sudden it starts getting that way.
Oh, so that's why you have to watch.
Yeah, and that's why you know.
Got it.
And would you, I mean, obviously this wouldn't take as long as if you have a smaller quantity.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we're making a large batch, but if I'm trying to make green bean casserole, in theory, I only need probably 3 shallots.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think once you've had them, it's like these things will stay in the refrigerator in a container for quite a while.
Really? They don't get soggy?
No, because that's why we have all the paper towels on that. We're gonna get we're gonna get them really dry. And then
a lot of the oil out.
Yeah, and then what happens is that you've got them and you can like use them to top any kind of vegetable with.
I just thought of something, Jim.
What?
We need to make sure that people participating have preheated their oven.
Yes, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Thank you, Jude.
I'm here to help.
All right.
Because I get to eat the results. So, you know.
You have a good stake in the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's not all altruistic, that's for sure.
So are we going to do this again in 3 days? Or
I don't know. Yeah.
That's a good question.
How long will this keep?
Oh, so these will keep, so that, I mean, the green bean casserole will keep, but you know, what it may be is that we feed it to Ryan and then he gets his fill of green bean casserole. And then we do, you know, we may do collards for,
Yeah, it's a big decision.
Yeah, Ryan would be up in arms if there was no green bean casserole.
Yeah, that's true. That's, yeah.
It's kind of like Thanksgiving without turkey, right?
See, I don't care that much about the turkey. Hot take from me.
Yeah.
See, with me, the thing that I am most attracted to is the I'm gonna turn this up just a touch. Is the dressing, and this year's dressing I'm going to do Dean Fearing's dressing, which has tortillas in it, and it has jalapenos, cornbread, and yeah. Oh, it's
love some good cornbread.
Yeah, and it's got a tortilla broth in it. So you take tortillas and you're browning those, and you put chicken broth with it, and you put jalapenos and those, and then you use a immersion blender and you blend that into a broth, and then you add that in as your liquid in the dressing. Yeah.
I'm starting to see a few brown pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the color is changing from here, but you still see that there are white pieces here and there.
Yeah, that's
still. That's why you also have to keep stirring it consistently.
Absolutely.
Sounds like so that it is even.
Yeah, and we're starting to get bubbles. Yeah,
so
we're starting.
Okay.
Yeah, which that means it's going to go pretty quick.
Okay, that's when it starts to really move it. Okay.
Would there be a bad side to cranking it up fast at the beginning to get those bubbles? Like, do you want it to gradually?
Yeah, actually, I kind of do,
Yeah.
because that way I don't like shoot past it real fast.
Better safe than sorry
Yeah,
approach.
yeah. I'd rather take the extra few minutes and know, all right, I'm going to have a little bit of a margin of error, whereas otherwise you're not going to have any. You're going to be right there.
I'm starting to smell more too. There's
Yeah.
more aroma, so that's
Mhm.
also another sign it's
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah, shallots is something that they ask for a lot in the Blue Apron and the Hello Fresh, those like delivery ones.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
And I had never cooked with them before doing that, and now I like love to cook with
Yeah.
them. They're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
really
just
are.
have a great taste. You know, that was another one of those Lopez salt deals. It's like he uses it in a lot of stuff, and I was like you, I'd never used it before.
Yeah.
And now every time I go to the grocery store, I make sure that I buy a few shallots, and I always make sure that I buy cilantro. And I've also started doing the flat leaf parsley, because it's kind of a
Cilantro
versatile.
is the one some people think tastes like soap,
So
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
if you have a genetic variant,
Mhm.
you
Really sad.
Yeah.
all right. So we're getting really close.
Wow, it smells really
I know.
good. I can really smell it now.
Okay. Well, maybe another minute.
To keep stress low on Thanksgiving,
Mm.
are you, I guess I know that you're not the type of person that has to schedule minute by minute, but with something like this, I do feel like you would want to make sure you allot plenty of time to
Well,
do.
yeah, but also
Good
this would be
point, Megan.
something I would suggest doing like the day before, right? Because there's really no like benefit to doing it the day of.
Because you could just warm it up in the oven.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
That's
Well, I mean, even
meaning
just
the
the
shallots.
No, I'm talking about the shallots, the green bean
Just the
casserole.
shallots.
Yeah,
Good
Oh,
point.
yeah.
yeah. That way you're not doing those in the midst of everything.
That's actually a really good point.
Okay.
Man, that smells good.
Yeah.
I saw my friend's schedule for Friendsgiving, and she did it by the minute, and she gave herself 5-minute breaks to clean up the house as she went. Like every single minute was like for probably 7 hours.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. She did a
That's
full turkey.
That's impressive.
This is going to come as a real shock to you, but that's not how I roll.
Sometimes, your wife helps
Yeah,
a little
she
bit
does.
in the scheduling side. Not quite that, precise, but
All right.
it is good to have a plan. Otherwise, you don't eat
Totally.
till midnight
Yeah,
sometimes.
and I've done those before.
I remember.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Let's see.
Getting
so-
ready?
Yeah, just it'll cook a little bit more there, but it's great to have them kind of crispy
Yeah.
when they're done. And
So after we do this, I know we're adding these ingredients. We're just draining the oil before we do that.
yeah, we're going to use a different skillet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, for the rest of the ingredients.
Got it.
I love my cast iron, but it is heavy, and
Yeah.
so I use a stainless steel one that I can put in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this thing is pretty heavy.
I always forget the rules on this. Are you're not supposed to put soap, or you're not supposed to use a sponge.
Sponge, yes. Soap, no.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can use salt, and and that's another. I'm always like giving props to Lopez Salt. He's like, of course you can use soap, but if once the seasoning is like really solid on these things, then it's not as big a deal. I just have decided, all right, I'm going to avoid doing that. So I've got this scrubber that actually got it from your mom one year, and they work really well. I think they're like recycled plastic bottles or
Yeah, they're
something.
great. Yeah.
And it's
Oh, I have some of those.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're great for this. Just use one that you haven't done. Yeah, kind of had a little oil hop out there. Just use one that you haven't used soap on.
It's actually nice because there is so much oil. It's not splashing
Yeah,
on you because
yeah,
it's not popping.
mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
boiling.
Yeah.
It's boiling. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, if you had a smaller amount.
Yeah, I feel like it would be
definitely,
cracking at
yeah.
Okay.
So you're going a little bit longer than you thought. It sounds
Yeah,
like
I
you're
am, because
really-
I'm about there.
My guess is some of this is trial and error. You over time you realize.
That's the only way I cook, right? I mean, it's like, yes, I will look at recipes to get ideas, and then as I go, it's like, okay, what changes, right?
Well, and you're usually paleoizing whatever
Yes.
recipe you're finding.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
you know, it takes a few times to really perfect
Absolutely.
that.
Mm-hmm.
You just sort of have to have that curious mind
Mhm.
with it, and not a perfectionist mind up front. 'Cause
No.
I think I am actually going to take credit for this because I believe I called you asking how you would paleoize
Mhm.
green bean
There you
casserole.
go.
So
Yeah, I think it is.
There you go, Megan.
really sparked this idea.
All right, I think we're just about there. Yeah, all right, let's do this. All right, so I'm gonna turn this off. All right, and then I'm gonna use, oops. So grab the spoon,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna tilt this thing, and so I'm gonna move this way, you're gonna get on the other side of me, so there you go. Okay, yeah, and I'm just gonna pour it,
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely needs to be a two-person job there.
Would you get the rest of them? Perfect. Okay, good. I'm gonna move this here.
Smells so good.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
All right, and then what we're gonna do. And that oil is, I had just a little taste of the other one that I had done. It is incredible.
It is amazing, yeah. You need to bring that other tray over?
Yeah,
or-
but I'm gonna move
Okay.
this out of
Do
the
you want me
way
to get
first. Yeah, actually, what I'll do is I'll just, well, that's hot as hell on the bottom. Which, imagine that, it's got boiling oil.
Shocker.
I can't imagine.
Okay, what do you have on the tray?
Okay,
there?
so I have like layers of paper towels.
Okay,
Okay, and what I'm gonna do, so I'm just gonna put this over here. All right, I'm just gonna spread these out.
Okay.
You know, I don't know, we could have gone another minute or so,
hmm.
but the last time I did it, we got a few too many.
That got burnt a little.
Mm-hmm. But these are not quite crunchy yet.
Hmm.
So you know what? I think we're gonna put them back in there for a second.
Wow.
And that advantage, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's super hot. It's probably
Yeah.
still.
Let's do this. Let's start this.
I feel like I'm being a particularly helpful sous chef.
Well, you're doing
Let me
great.
know.
Here you go.
Here for moral support.
That's nice. This is kind of a thing.
Okay.
I'm
Now,
gonna add the other oil
Yeah.
back in.
yep, I have to.
Yeah.
You don't feel like they're saturated with oil enough now?
No.
Hmm.
Because they would burn. Because in essence, you just have to have them in the oil. Okay. So
So this is gonna be a challenge.
yeah.
I'm gonna watch.
Let's see. Let's do it this way.
It's called the problem-solving cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is part of, I guess, the fearless cooking peak.
Yeah.
You just gotta
That's it.
keep at it. Yeah, I can see they're not.
Mm-hmm.
crisp.
Yeah.
And
You're already
normally-
kimchi.
yeah,
Mhm.
they are. Yeah, they're more. And so they would normally just the minute you put them on the paper towel,
Mm-hmm.
get pretty crisp up.
Yeah.
So
Actually, let's do this.
There you
A little
Oops.
butter.
go. Little butter never hurt anyone.
Mm-mm.
no.
Shallots and
So
butter.
this show might go a little longer than
Yeah.
most.
Yeah,
but
well. Oh, well.
that's the joy of doing it with
Yes.
family, right? And
That's right.
And friends
And
and people
wine.
you like, and yeah, it might be time for another glass of wine.
I haven't even finished the one. That's probably why
You've
it's
been so
sticking me.
busy. There you
Actually,
go.
do me a favor.
Yeah.
Put like 3 more layers of
Paper
paper
towels.
towels. Yeah.
On top of what's already there?
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the variables with this is that I added, more shallots than I did the last time.
So that adds more
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe people who are cooking along with you, theirs are ready.
Yep.
So what will they be doing if they're cooking along with you?
Well,
Mushrooms?
no, just chill. Have another glass of wine.
Oh, there we go. And just keep them on the paper towel.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you're going to do is that you're going to just you're going to go from one layer paper towel, you're going to move them off to the next layer.
Oh,
So-
to just keep getting the
Yeah.
grease off of them.
Mhm.
Or the oil, sorry.
Another one of those papers. All right. There we go.
Oh, it just smells so good.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I definitely think I would, if they're making this for Thanksgiving, do the shallots the day before.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
With all the other things going on. When you actually get the green bay casserole in the oven, how long will that?
It's only like 10 to 15 minutes.
And what is the oven? What do you?
400 degrees. Yep.
But you had blanched the
Yeah, you
green
blanch
beans previously.
exactly.
That's
Yeah,
important.
and on these I went ahead and did kind of a heavy blanch on them. So normally it's like 5 minutes. I probably went more closer to 7, just because I wanted them a little bit softer.
Well, because traditional green bean casserole, you're using canned.
Right,
Yes.
they're
So they
more
are softer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
Okay, so,
It's
yeah,
bubbling a
it
lot.
is. So it's
okay,
not going to
bubbling
take.
a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I should we get that thing over there, the tray. I mean the bowl with the
Strainer.
words.
Yeah. Words are hard sometimes.
They are. You can even just sit it right. You can sit it inside that. So no.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
Cooking right now. So after you guys do this, then that's when you're gonna start
Then we'll.
chopping the mushrooms and green beans and things.
It did go out. Yes, it did.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me.
Oops.
All right.
You may have to have bleeps on this one.
Yeah,
Did you run out of?
I think I did. So
No,
I have another one standing by.
that's good.
You
All
don't
right.
You want to just put it on the burner?
Yeah, why don't you just
Yeah,
for this one? I'm
You
sure
can turn it
people will
on.
understand.
and then I'll swap because I don't want to
Mhm.
burn these. All right. You got it? Okay.
It's on pretty high, so.
Okay.
I do like this problem solving approach here.
Mhm.
I don't think most cooking really goes that smoothly.
No, it
most of
doesn't.
the
You have
time.
to,
No.
you have
All
to
right,
think on
where's
your
that
feet.
other? There it is. Okay. Would you get the other glove?
Yes.
Thanks. All right. Getting close.
Do you want to bring that over here now and we can just put this back over there?
Yeah,
Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah.
Wow, that smells good. Man.
Ideally, there's brown on all of them.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's like a really light golden, which is kind of where we're headed, right?
Is that because you don't want it to get fully cooked because we're still gonna put the
Well, because they
breading and
continue,
stuff on
because
it?
because we're not doing breading.
Oh.
Okay, but what happens is they continue to cook when they go over. Okay.
Oh,
There's
right,
a
in the
carryover.
Got it.
Well, no, there's carryover cooking. Like as they're sitting there, they will get
Mm.
browner.
Understood.
And what happens is that they just go from like perfect, because when things like this burn, you get that kind of acrid taste. kind of a bitterness, and you just want to avoid that. So we said this is getting real close right now. Yeah, let me go ahead and put that on.
Well, just the aroma is so much stronger, so that's also another sign of really cooking.
Yeah, I'm starting to see some, you see how it's kind of turning brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're there. All right, so we give you this, and then I'll tilt it this way. Let me pour it in. Oops. All right. Yeah, let me get that.
Okay, it's not hot on the edges.
There we go. All right. Look.
Let me do that.
You know, I don't know if this is good. I mean, it may just be that I cooked too many. Let's
So
see.
that's a good way to know.
Yeah, but you know, he cooked like a pound when he, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. They're not crispy.
And the last time you cooked them, they were.
Yeah, remember they got kind of crispy. So these may crisp up as they cool.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna, man, they smell fantastic.
Yes, they do. And you cooked them for another at least 2 or 3 more minutes. So.
Be
Yeah,
careful
good
with
idea to move that.
Yeah, but got it? Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna dump it down to the next layer.
Interesting.
Oh, that's the way that you.
You get the oil out, and then you use this and just kind of pat them on the top. Okay, and then put them down on the next layer.
So that's why you had like, did you have 3 layers?
All right, I think we did about 4, but
4, okay.
Yeah, I think these could have gone even longer, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe when these completely cool, they'll get firmer. Because right now,
Do you need to pat them on top again? You don't pat them on top again?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that on this next.
Okay.
All right, so we'll just spread them out. This is that fearless part of fearless cooking is it's like going, you know what? It isn't always going to turn out perfect, guys. I hate to break it to you. I know that everybody has every one of the recipes turn out, but I guess this is, you know, this is my effort to let you know it's okay when it sucks sometimes because it's still going to taste great.
Yeah, the flavor will still be amazing.
Absolutely. All right. We'll do one more layer.
I am curious what would happen if you put part of it on the burner with no oil after you've dried them.
I think it would probably, they would go like from this to burned like real quick. Well, you know what? We'll save a few. We'll try it with a few.
Later tonight.
Well, actually, we can try it with a few right now.
Well, we are kind of, our time is sort of, we're already at 4:45.
Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. Okay.
We've spent 45 minutes on the shelf.
A 10-minute
so,
exercise.
you know, you kind of want to think about it.
All right, so I'm going to spread these out. We'll move this off to the side for now. All right. Here we go. Let's put these over here. Now, we're going to do the mushrooms. So here's what we're going to do with these. We're just going to, okay. Oh, first we're going to have some wine. That was stressful.
Wow, apparently. Okay.
All right, so we're just going to cut the very ends off, okay? And then what I do is I just kind of push it down.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, use my knuckles as the guide. This about that thick. So it's about 1/4 of an inch.
Is there something that you want to do while I do those? Or
Yeah,
is
so-
it all a
So,
process?
yeah, so go ahead. You can start on that.
Do you have another bowl to put the cut mushrooms into, or just? keep them
Yeah,
on?
let me get another one. So I'll get this one, and you can start putting them in there. And what I'll do is I'll grab a cutting board, and I'll start doing some over here. So we'll tag team this thing.
Beautiful.
That's the joy of like
Mhm.
cooking together, right?
Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna get the ends. So when you did the Friendsgiving the other day, what dish did you like the best?
Our Friendsgiving was really rookie compared to our friend, the one that has the minute-by-minute schedule.
Uh-huh.
Hers is, she usually hosts, but she moved to New Orleans, so
Oh, wow.
she didn't host this year. Put it on us to do it, and she was very sweet and pretended like ours was good, but compared to hers, it really wasn't.
Uh-huh.
But favorite dish, honestly, someone made baked brie as an appetizer. That was
Ooh.
quite
Wow,
memorable.
that sounds so yummy.
That's, gotta love the fat.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a, what's the word I'm looking for? Also, probably not keto, because I think there was bread on it.
Really?
Yeah, right? Because when you do baked brie, don't you wrap it in something?
Huh, okay, was it in like a pastry crust?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
Oh.
okay.
I don't know. I've never made it before, but I think
But that would be another one of those things that you could probably, now you could, pastry crust, obviously, like the puff pastry, I don't know.
Yeah, is there a way to paleoize that? Because you wouldn't get that same like fluffy texture with
Yeah.
any of the replacement flours, probably.
Yeah.
Because they're denser.
Yeah, but the one that we're using here, we're using cassava flour.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's lighter.
yeah,
Sure.
the thing that makes like a lot of the pastries like so fluffy is all of the butter that they use, right? Because
Okay.
they use cold butter, which
Right.
melts and it creates these layers.
Right.
Like this, what we're using for the green bean casserole is cassava flour, because this recipe that I am using was they use regular flour.
Okay.
And they use cream. And so all I did was I just said, okay, let's replace the flour with cassava flour,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I don't have to try and figure out, okay, if they're calling for 2 tablespoons, which is what this one calls for, would that be a tablespoon of coconut flour? There's just too many.
Cassava is pretty much you can,
Yeah, cassava is a 1-to-1.
yeah, okay.
So, yeah, so I really like that aspect of it. And then I always just use coconut milk instead of, regular cow's milk, just because I don't have to worry about somebody not being able to handle it.
Right.
All right. Go.
Okay,
Okay, so we've got the mushrooms done. Now we're going to do the garlic. All right, I'll just mince these real quick. And this is another one of those things that just make sure that you have it all done ahead of starting the process.
What's the difference between mincing garlic and then doing the garlic press?
So I don't use a garlic press anymore because it breaks the cells of the garlic, and for me, it makes it bitter. So we did an experiment, like one of the early Fearless Cookings, where I did them both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And Jude and I both noticed it was just a lot more bitter.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I just always, this is just mince. I just slice it up real thin and then go over it again. And put it back in here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to start the mushrooms out. We'll put the butter in. I'm going to swap this canister out with a new one. That one's pretty close to done, if it's not completely done. So put this right here. Wow. No. Oh, it wasn't. It has a safety feature. If that thing is not completely turned off, it won't let you
That's good.
close it. Yeah. This thing has got oil on it, on the
Oh, do you
handle. Yeah.
get some matches?
There we go.
There you go. Ta-da. All right.
All right. So we're going to put this on here. We're going to put the butter in here.
And that's how many?
That's
Two
two,
tablespoons?
more or less 2 tablespoons. I don't.
You don't measure things.
I eyeball it.
Never hurts to have a little extra.
That's
butter.
right. Yeah. And then a little wine. How are you on wine?
You know, I'll take some more. Why not?
Why not?
It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right?
We have some shallots in there. That
Butter a la Shallots.
Uh-huh. Let's see what these are looking like. Yeah, these are, I'm afraid,
Well,
not going to be
crisp up.
crispy. They
Oh,
just,
too bad.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
well.
I think what it was is I probably started it off too low. So I think,
Ah.
you know, to our viewing audience, like, go ahead and crank the heat up more in the beginning.
And you had said initially not to heat the oil first.
What-
Do you think that would help?
No, but I think what you need to do is you need to get it bubbling like sooner.
Sooner.
Because
Okay.
what happens is I probably
Yeah.
released so much sugar, I caramelized them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See that?
once this gets going, then
Okay,
we'll.
so what are you gonna do after you?
So once the butter starts to melt, then I'm gonna put the mushrooms in, all
Okay,
right? And then we'll get those going, kind of get them to start releasing some of their liquids. Then we'll add the garlic. We're gonna give that about a minute. Then we'll add the flour.
okay,
That's gonna start giving us kind of a, like, almost like a paste. Then we'll add the chicken stock, and then we'll add the coconut milk. We'll get this stuff in the oven, and then we'll make our green bean vinaigrette.
All right.
excellent.
All right, so we got this cranking. We'll add the mushrooms. There we go. And I'm gonna hit them with a
So
little.
when does the garlic go in?
After these had cooked for a few
Yeah,
minutes.
okay.
Okay, I'm gonna hit it with some salt.
It's a pretty hefty salt.
Yeah,
Pinch. Okay.
yeah, I do the generous
Yes.
because, you know, what I try to do is salt kind of as I go,
Mm-hmm.
because it also helps the mushrooms like release their liquid.
Yeah, the point is not to make it taste salty, but
Yeah.
actually to enhance. the
Yeah, I
flavor.
never want to taste salt in a meal that I cook. What I want is I want to taste all the flavors that are there that the salt helps bring out.
Mhm.
But I always hate it when I'm eating somewhere and I taste salt, because it's like, all right, you went overboard with the salt.
Yeah.
But you know how sometimes you taste something and it just kind of tastes flat?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it needs one of two things. It either needs salt or it needs acid. Yeah.
Mhm.
Acid will generally add brightness.
Yeah.
You know, another thing salt does is that it helps eliminate a bitter taste. So if you taste something and it's too bitter, add a little salt to it.
Oh, you know what you did forget to do was cut the green beans.
Yeah, well, we'll do that in just a second
Okay.
before we add them in here.
I can start them.
Okay, that's cool.
So
I'm getting ready to add the garlic. But
and you're gonna do half of the green beans that are in the bowl there?
Yeah,
Because you've got
just do
2
half,
pounds of
yeah.
green beans.
Okay. So am I like having these?
no, so just put a big pile of them on there and just cut. But you basically kind of do them sort of bite size. That was the request of Ryan. So
Okay. Weird, but
yeah.
So
So I guess I do get that.
Yeah, he wants it like the cans. All right, so I'm gonna put the garlic in. Now we got garlic and mushrooms. We've got 2 tablespoons of butter in here. You're cutting the green beans up.
Yeah.
We're gonna let this I'm gonna let the garlic start trying to smell it a little bit. And then I'll add the flour. Once the flour goes in, or not the flour, but the cassava flour. Once it goes in, this stuff will get, like, it'll start turning into a paste. Then we'll add the chicken broth. But we're gonna make kind of a roux with it.
So only half of the green beans.
Yeah, are we
Yeah,
more than this?
Yeah, I'd do those.
And this.
Yeah, and then let's see. You can hear how these are squeaky?
Yeah.
Mhm. So why did you cook a little bit of the mushroom first before adding the garlic?
Because I don't want the garlic to burn.
Okay.
And garlic just burns real fast. All right, so now I'm gonna add the flour. Okay, so this is just, what this is doing is soaking up any of the liquid. We're gonna like brown it in here so that we start to develop kind of the base for like the roux.
What's a roux?
A roux is like, it's a flour and oil.
Okay.
Okay, and it's a base for a lot of sauces. And what's going to happen is once I get this on here, then when I add the chicken stock, it's going to like start forming a gravy.
Mm.
All right, here we go.
Which I guess is what, when you think of the traditional green bean casserole.
Yeah.
That's what's in the mushrooms too.
Yeah. See how it's starting? You can see it's starting to thicken up.
Yeah.
Is there any way to show us? Probably not.
Yep.
It's getting kind of creamy looking.
Ah, okay.
All right, now we're going to add this.
Is it being the?
This being the
Coconut
coconut
milk.
milk. Sorry.
And this is in substitution of the heavy cream.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what I want to do is get all of that that's on the bottom.
That's why you have the full fat coconut milk.
Yep.
too, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. The other coconut milk is really not coconut. I mean, it's like kind of it's all watered down. You know, the full fat coconut milk is kind of like real coconut milk. So saith Jim.
You
All right.
should show them what this
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, you know, you
Oh,
can
yeah,
see,
it's really getting thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we're going to add the green beans. I want to get this a little bit thicker. All right. So there is what is that? The bench scraper. Here it is. Yeah, if you'll use that and start putting that in here.
And where did when did the shallots go in it?
We're going to put those in just a second.
Oh, okay. So you do put them in the mix as well as on
Yeah,
top.
yeah. What were you going to say?
What did you call this?
A bench scraper. You
That's a
use it in
great tool.
pastry. Yeah, it's a pastry tool. But I use it to take ingredients and move them around.
Yeah, I'm thinking, have you ever had Thai ice cream where they like put it on this cold stone and then they peel it and make these little like rolls?
I haven't. I've seen it. I've never
So
had it.
good.
Yeah, they use almost like a spatula, I think, to do that, don't they?
Well, it looks exactly like
Oh,
this.
does it?
They like
Okay.
they put a thin layer of this stuff on like a really cold slab,
Mm-hmm.
and then they scrape it into little rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna, if you'll stir that.
Also, it's looking like green bean casserole.
It
I know.
sure is. Smells really yummy too.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm gonna put this in here and I'll
About
stir that in.
how many shallots do you think?
So I probably put a couple of tablespoons in, and then I'm gonna put some more on the top.
I feel like that's probably like 2 shallots. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Mixed in pretty good.
Okay. Now then we'll put some more on.
Is it any more salt and pepper or?
Yeah, probably. And so everything, it's not like I'm gonna taste, a dish that has raw pork in it. So I'm gonna.
You know this isn't quite ready, but.
Yeah,
still
but I
you
want to
can
just
some
get a feel
flavor.
for how much salt it needs.
It's so hot.
Yeah, it is. You scared me out of that bite because I would make sure I never use compound words in fearless cooking. Yeah. So.
Needs more salt.
Mhm.
And what is it that makes you, just feels it
And then
a
a little pepper.
little pepper?
It is a very like savory dish.
Mhm.
So I can see where you need the
Yeah.
bite of the pepper in there.
All right, here we go. We're just going to put these on top so you're done stirring.
Okay.
Yeah, so memo next time, I will just crank the heat up more. In fact, I'm going to make another batch of these probably this week just to see. All
I
right,
should save a few. Just I'm curious.
I'm going to.
What will happen?
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, if you put it in
Yeah.
the pan.
Yeah, with that
All right.
oil.
So now then, I'm going to go with this into the oven.
Oh, so it's not going in a casserole dish ever.
Nope, you just go straight into here.
Okay.
And it's a 400-degree oven, and we'll put it in. It's like, would you set a timer
Sure.
for 15 minutes? We'll pull it out in just a second. All right, so turn
Oh,
that
sounds
off.
good.
All right, I'm going to move this out of the way because we're done cooking with this. It's just a little hot, but. Yeah.
You said 15 minutes, yes?
Yeah. So let's do this. I don't want to sit this on the table.
Okay, so now we're doing our green bean vinaigrette.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. So now then, grab another towel. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to tell you what I'll let you do.
Okay.
Is if you will quarter these. That's the
The
tomatoes.
green beans, the bowl of green beans, so we can see.
Yeah, so this is how many green beans we're going to use.
Okay, that's
Okay.
about a pound.
Yeah.
right?
What we're going to do is that we're going to do olive oil. We'll do, what is it? I think it's a tablespoon of olive oil. Let's see.
I feel like I'm not particularly good at cutting cherry tomatoes.
Would you like for me to do it?
No, just show me how.
Okay, here. So if the knife is, let's see, is the knife sharp? Yeah. And then I just take that and then that way. And then you can, it's easier to, I think, to cut them.
Yeah.
In other words, don't try and cut
Yes.
yeah. So then just turn it and then cut that.
Got it. Yeah. I think my issue is usually not sharp enough, so I have to like puncture it first.
Yeah. So that's why I always use that honing steel first, because then it kind of helps get the, gets the knife sharp. Okay, so what did I say? I said on this one, we're going, oh, I don't have it on here. So I'm going to use a tablespoon of vinegar. So I'm going to take, instead of using regular shallots, I'm going to use some of these that I've already cooked. So actually, I want to use some raw. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry.
Almost done.
So this is just the bonus thing.
Yes,
for this
yeah.
to-
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is just use this for the cutting board. I'm just cutting some, and I'll show you what these are going to be.
Don't pay attention to my technique here because I'm not doing very well.
That's what we can see.
Sorry.
That's good. Yours look like you're doing just fine.
I need his glove.
Very good to make sure you
Yeah.
get, yeah.
You can have it.
That's fine.
All right. So I've got this raw shallot cut up. And this is probably a that's a little over a tablespoon. I'm gonna put it in here. And then I'm gonna put enough vinegar to just kind of soak that pretty good.
Okay.
So, all right, so I've got that on there. We'll stick this off
Can
to
you
the
see it? Can you
yeah.
show us?
Mhm. Here we go. So, can you see that?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We're just going to sit that there for a second. We've got that cut. We can go ahead and we'll add some salt to it. So this is, what is that? That's probably half a teaspoon of salt, quarter teaspoon of salt.
A teaspoon of salt.
No, it's not, because think about it. That's a teaspoon. You can't put that amount in your fingers.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
All right.
You need to cut the
And what I would suggest is to play with, get like a piece of wax paper and then like get a pinch and then measure it. So you can start to see, all right, that's how much this is the equivalent of, right? Let's chop up some Italian parsley. And all I want to do with it is I'm just going to, I usually just grab kind of a handful like this. I'm not going to use the stem. Put this back over here. And I'm just going to, once again, I just keep my fingers out of the way. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, because I've got bowls in your way.
Yeah.
All right. So let me use that. No, I'm not. Here, we get these out of the way. All right. Okay. So we've got, we'll put this on the green beans.
The parsley on
Yeah,
the green
just
beans.
flatly parsley. Okay. We'll put the tomatoes on the green beans. And now then, that's been able to hang out for a little while. I want to put at least twice the amount of olive oil, 3 times the amount of olive oil on here that I have vinegar. So that's always the kind of the general rule of thumb is 1 part vinegar, 3 parts olive oil.
For vinaigrette.
For vinaigrette, right? So.
And in theory, could you do this with balsamic?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can use any vinegar that you want. And then one of the things that I always add, and this was a recipe that I saw, is that we're going to put mustard, because what mustard does with vinaigrette is it's an emulsifying agent. So we're just going to do, that's about a teaspoon. Okay.
You look like you use more of a brown mustard.
Yeah, I use
mustard.
this is a Dijon.
Okay.
All right, and I'm just going to use the fork to whisk it. We're just getting it all kind of mixed together. And we'll put this right here. We're going to pour that on it.
Put that on the green beans.
Yeah, we're going to pour it on the green beans. And then the other thing we're going to do is that we're going to grate some Pecorino Romano on top. So I'm going to mix this up.
It's a nice, then you could eat this cold or warm salad,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. So we got the Italian parsley, the tomatoes. You know, if you want, you could add, some kind of like dried sausage to this if you want to. You know, this. So I came up with this the other day because I had the green beans and I was like, I want some kind of a salad.
What about like sliced almonds or pine nuts?
Be perfect on
That
there.
would be really
Yeah.
nice. That little crunch in there.
Yeah.
And those green beans have been blanched, obviously. So
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
And I'm just gonna. Yeah, pine nuts would be delicious in it.
Mhm.
Walnuts would be great.
I can associate walnuts with like a sweet,
Hmm.
like more of a dessert topping. Like
Yeah.
I would never, I can't think of any food I would cook where I
Interesting.
would add walnuts.
See, I use pecans on this or almonds. Yeah.
Also, if I'm looking at this, like with my oven light on, what am I looking for it to be doing?
All you're really doing is just trying to get it heated.
Okay, so you're not looking for like additional browning on anything.
But you would if I had the broiler on,
Okay.
right?
And
And
you want it to kind of bubble at least a little.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
right?
so I'm gonna pull it out in just a second. We're gonna see where it is. How much time's left?
7 minutes.
Okay.
Made up some good ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, this was a little bit of a marathon fearless cooking session. But it's appropriate that it's Thanksgiving. So here's what this looks like.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That looks really nice.
Smells really good.
So you could have any kind of protein with that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could.
Or
Yeah.
whatever.
And that's what I like about it is it's the sort of thing that you can make a bunch of this up and have it, and then you've got all kinds of flexibility. You could add pecans to it. You could add pine nuts to it. You could add chicken to it. You could serve it with chicken. In fact, I probably wouldn't add the protein to it.
Yeah.
I just use it as a side for the protein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, it's been fun cooking with you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move this so that when we pull it,
We've got 6 minutes before that's.
I'm just going to get this ready.
Okay.
All right.
Are you ready to talk about what's next for fearless cooking?
Actually, I'm not.
Okay.
So we're not doing fearless cooking next week. I think what we'll do is we'll do something with turkey week after next. And what I would suggest is if you get to wear it with turkey. In fact, I think what we're going to do. Nah, I don't know yet. So we're gonna use turkey. So take some of the turkey that you have from Thanksgiving and just freeze it. And that way you've got it available. Because I think what happens with people around Thanksgiving is that you get just overdosed on turkey. Because like you were saying, it's not your favorite deal. Well, so what about turkey don't you like?
No, I don't dislike it at all. It's just not what excites me about Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I'm way more into the sides than I am the actual bird.
Okay. Well, and I would have to say that I'm probably in that category.
I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Unless you're the one that's investing the 7 hours to cook it, I feel like.
But see, the way that I'm doing it now, it takes me 2 hours to cook it.
Okay, that's
Well,
because
I'm
gonna do a spatchcock this year, so I'm gonna cut the backbone out, right? But the other thing that I've changed over the last couple of years is that I pull the turkey when it's about 153 breast temperature. So I'm actually going to put a probe in it this year so I can measure the temperature on the egg.
And is it the same as chicken where it needs to be 165?
But see, that's a myth, right? So a lot of things.
Looking convinced.
Yeah. So a lot of things that you're going to do. A lot of what we've been told over the years is okay, how do you make a rule that's idiot proof?
Yeah.
Right? How do you make something that you're not going to poison people? Right? So what's the whole thing around 165 is that if you get meat to 165 for 1 second, it's sterilized, it's pasteurized. Okay. If you get meat to 153 or 154 for 3 minutes, it's also pasteurized.
Yeah.
So what you want to do, you're trying to figure out, okay, what's the ideal temp for the, okay, and you want the thigh temperature up around 165, 170, okay? So when you spatchcock it, you cook it more because you don't have these different heights of the bird that you're dealing with. You've got it kind of on one level.
So it cooks more evenly.
It cooks more evenly. The skin gets crispier. Okay, but I try and make sure that I pull it out. I let it get to 153, and then it's going to come off. Well, what happens is just like the onions continue to get hotter. Okay, the temperature will continue to rise. Okay, but once it's at 153, you're good because it's not going to get cooler. It's going to get warmer. Okay, so a lot of people go, I don't like breast meat because it's so dry. That's because you've hammered it, right? You pulled it at 165. By the time it continued to rise, it's maybe you know, 70, 75. Well, you squeezed all of the juice out of
Yeah.
the meat.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Why you have to have gravy?
Yeah, but guys, I mean, you know, it's like I want to have gravy, but I want the meat like the next day if I'm making, you know, I was gonna say a sandwich, but I actually we bought these what are those things? They're like cheese rolls. So they're like it's like a
Keto proof?
yeah, they're actually they are it is a keto wrap. So it is here it is. It's called Folios. It's made with Parmesan cheese, lactose free. I don't know. We're gonna try it because I'm not doing like a keto Thanksgiving, but I'm trying to kind of stay relatively low carb.
So if people are going to be freezing some of their turkey for the next, which pieces of, should it be more breast, dark meat? What does it matter?
I would probably do a mixture. Okay, but I'm always an advocate of using the, you know, like thigh meat for stuff. Because what we'll do is we're going to do some kind of a soup with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm going to play with it. We might do some kind of a curry sort of a base.
Ooh, that sounds really
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll use we'll use coconut milk. We'll use chicken. We'll use probably kale. Because what I want to do is I want to have a soup that has everything in
It's
it.
a full meal,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Will that be an Instapot?
It probably will. Well, actually, no, I think we'll do it on a big pot on the stove because the chicken will already be, the turkey will already be done.
Yeah.
So we don't want to, you know, I don't want to like violate my don't hammer your protein guidance. All right, let's see. I think we're close there.
Yeah, it's just 45 seconds.
All right,
so
let's see what this thing
check
looks
it out.
like. Oh yeah.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And those shallots got a little browner at the
Yeah,
top.
they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they crisp it up a little bit. Yep.
Can
So
you-
here, I'll
can you
show it.
to
Yeah,
us? Yeah.
absolutely. All right. So there it is,
Ooh,
guys.
that looks really yummy.
Yeah, it does look yummy. So have a fabulous Thanksgiving, and you know, don't let the stuff stress you out. If something isn't exactly perfect, it's still going to probably taste good. The whole secret is don't burn it, right? As long as you don't burn it, you can recover.
There you
Okay. Everything. There was a guy that wrote a book that just said the only thing that you can't recover from is burnt toast.
There
Right?
you go.
You can't unburn it. So as long as you know, like kind of give yourself some margin of error, you're in good shape.
And have plenty of wine on hand.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So hey guys, cheers and happy Thanksgiving.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye.